Going on, y'all? Gonzo's Convos, Season 5, Episode 16. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Laney Luna. Um, yeah, I'm Laney Luna. Laney
Yeah.
Luna. Sorry.
Laney Luna. That's your nickname or
Yeah, that's my artist name.
artist name? Okay. So you're a singer.
I'm a singer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So like you just do like the TikTok type of deal, like for like not for business, but for like fun, and then the singing things like the regular career.
So I do have I have multiple talents, but I am pursuing a lot of things right now. So music is one of them.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I do have other things that I'm also like working on, and I just Laney Luna is like my new empowered like new version of myself that is just the next level.
I got you. I got you. I got you. So what is it that you sing about?
I like to sing about basically like things that frustrate me like in life, like things cycles. So I guess I consider myself a spiritual healer. I like
Mhm.
to teach people about like traumas and like how to heal them and how to how to get out of them. And so I'd like to sing about things like that, things that make a message. So I've just started to write things, so I've been playing with that, and it's kind of difficult to write a whole
I got you.
message in a song. So yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's honestly really cool because it's that brings something different to music versus like nowadays type of stuff that you hear in music. So I like that definitely.
Yeah.
So going jumping into this topic about this generation. What are your overall thoughts about it?
On this generation, I would say, they're very free spirited, very open, very expressive. And
Mhm.
I think that's really good. I really like that people can express themselves, that people can be themselves, and it's more socially accepted. You would go back in different times where people had to hide who they were and things like that, and it's really not a life to live when you can't be who you are and you have to be in secret your true self. And I really enjoy this generation.
Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna be real. You're the first person to say that. That's been on the podcast. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the facts that you threw in there, I agree. I think people are very well free spirited, definitely. So, but do you think there's any cons to this generation at all, or none that you see?
Um, I guess cons that I could think of, because yeah, I mean, it depends what exactly we're looking at in the generation, because there could be good and bad in both. I do think that sometimes, um, okay, example I'm gonna say is like when people express themselves and then everybody attacks them, like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. You should. It's like, okay, everyone's entitled to their own opinion and
Right.
not be attacked for how they feel, or also maybe being too sensitive to something. I guess could be something as well where it's like it's okay to maybe take everyone's uh, aspect of a situation and not let it trigger you, and be able to navigate it in that way would be best. I would think.
Right.
Um, yeah.
I agree with that. I think I don't know if you've heard of it, but the cancel culture is a little bit crazy in this generation. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of that, so please enlighten me.
The cancel culture basically is it revolves around social media, obviously, and basically like let's say somebody says like an opinion that can be very that can what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? That can offend a lot of people. They'll put that out. They put a post out on there on social media, and then they'll feel some type of way, and then be like, oh, they're canceled or whatever, and get a group of people and just basically report them until they don't have an account no more, type deal.
Yeah.
Or they'll, like there's something like that, or they'll just have a bunch of people attack them on social media, type deal. That's what cancel culture is.
Okay, I see. Yeah, which is kind of it ties into what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Um, it's basically, yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's fair. I think that getting a group of people and kind of attacking someone for expressing themselves and saying how they feel about a a subject, I think that's not right. I also feel like when artists, speak their mind and say something, and then they force them to apologize, they force them to change what they think or how they would express themselves in order to get the crowd to like them again. I don't agree
Yeah,
with that, because that's just so wrong. It's like everyone is different, and everyone should be allowed to express themselves how they want, and that's not right to make someone um apologize when it's not like how they feel or how they believe. And yeah, I don't
right,
agree.
right. So like I was saying, it's crazy. It's crazy on social media. So I could say this when it time back to the generation. I feel like the cons would be the way people use social media, and then the way people go about relationships. I feel like those are very much so cons in this generation. Would you agree with that or no?
So cons in relationships, and what else? I'm sorry.
So the cons of this generation, I believe, are the way people use social media or go about social media, and the way people are within their relationships or trying to get with relationships.
Oh, so do you mean like you tie them in like maybe using it as dating, or you're tying it in as in like they go into relationships the way that they do, or I guess in social media, which causes problems for relationships? Is that where you're heading
Well,
with that?
I mean
I'm s-
that's definitely no,
I'm
no, you're
trying
good.
to understand what you're saying.
No, you're good. No, that's definitely a thing. But I'm saying like the cons of this generation, like relationships, the way people are in their relationships, I feel like are cons. And the same way I feel like social media, the way people use social media and the way people act sometimes on social media is a con as well.
Okay, so I mean, in relationships, I think that a lot of times, the reason relationships are kind of troubled, but I'd say that that has not really much to do with the generation in relationships. I think it's, a lot of people struggle with relationships, with the dating world, with, friendships. But that just tends to come back to things that you need to heal within yourself, because people are searching for love and from an outside source instead of getting the love from themselves. And that's
Right.
why it causes problems. But I think in relationships is not necessarily from this generation. I think that's in general. Like adults to this day have trouble dating, have not found that partner, that right relationship. So it's not really from the generation, not from my belief, and from the way people use social media. I think it does, like, it just everybody. It depends like where they're going from, because you can have that young person who's knows how to manifest, knows how to get things done, knows how to like be very focused, and how to make money from social media in the right way, I
Right.
guess, right in whoever you're is looking through it. And then you have people who will do it in a different way, where it's like, I mean, I use social media for tarot, like, and people see that as something being wrong, like it's like the devil or like whatever they call it. And you who are doing social media, it's because it's like, I mean, it's like to everybody their own thing, right? But then as well, you have people who are doing social media, and like it's okay, example, I get like people will like turn you, like ban you or whatever, if you're like doing tarot, because it's like some sort of religion thing and you offend someone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yet somebody who's cleaning and they're wearing some super skimpy clothes where you could see everything, and they're just, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how they make their money, that's their thing. But that doesn't get reported ever. Okay, and things like where it's like you
It
show a
gets
car
reported on
that
TikTok.
you
I've
show a
seen.
car, yeah, it is on TikTok, like people going live doing that.
Yeah.
um and then like on tarot, you show a card where it shows like the nudity, like a cartoon nudity that is not super vulgar, but you get banned for it. It's like just things like that where it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's used however, you know
I
I
got
guess.
you. So me, like, I'm not. I don't have like an opinion. I'm not against people that do tarot per
Yeah,
se. I'm just not gonna be one of those people that do it because
yeah,
I'm one. I feel like for me, it's hard to explain. I feel like for me, if I don't really know too much about it, I'm not gonna jump into it. If that makes sense, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, I mean, I see it on my TikTok too, but I ain't gonna lie, I scroll past it because I'm like, I don't know what's going on, type deal.
yeah.
So, I think it's just the fact that I'm not educated on tarot to be honest with you. So I think it's just something completely different from what I'm used to, if that makes sense.
Thing that you don't really like. It does like it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't bother you. It is like there's no opinion to it.
I can't,
Um,
yeah, like I can't really say if it does hurt or like if it hurts people or it's for people's gain. I can't really say because I've never done it myself. I've never seen people gain something from it or lose something from it. So I think it's just something there, But
yeah.
I don't really want to try it. 'Cause, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
understandable, and a lot of people, they it has a negative connotation from the past where, it was like religion was like they don't want you to connect to, to have divination. They call it divination, right? So they wanted people to just think that you have to, the only way to connect to God was with a middleman, which is the priest or whoever was running the church. So they
Right.
didn't want anybody connecting directly to source, and this is just a way where, we're all connected. We all have that ability to connect to God, to connect to source, to connect to divine. And tarot is just a way to kind of get that message, that channeled message through the cards. Basically, it's like charades. So when the cards come out, it's like charades. You have to decipher what each card means one thing, but when it falls next to another one, it means something else. And then if it falls in a particular way, like it all goes together. And
Yeah.
also, sometimes when I'm playing my music, like what I say, it literally the song just said it at that moment. And call it
Kind of
coincidence.
scary.
It's scary for people who are afraid of that, but and I'm not gonna lie, the first when I first got into it, I would freak myself out,
Right.
and the reason we are afraid of like the spirit realm, the spirit world, is because of movies, right? Like because we see all these things with ghosts and like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that terrifies us. So it's why people are afraid to explore it. But it's definitely something that I enjoy. I'm very passionate about it. I do feel that it definitely comes from the heart, and the messages that I give my people when we're on my live, it gets very emotional. Like times we cry together. It's like a whole little community, and like they support each other, like they all know each other, and like when we're in there, they're like saying hello to each other, and it's a whole vibe, and it's very beautiful, and I don't see anything negative in it at all. And but yeah, everyone has their own opinion, and that's okay.
Yeah.
um
I think as long as y'all are, having a good time and it's like a TikTok family, because I like to see that, to be honest with you. So I think that's a good thing because there's a lot of TikTok lives where I'll see people go live and they're just kind of in a negative type energy type of vibe, and everyone that comments on their live, no matter like even if it's like a how you doing type of deal, they kind of show like a type of attitude to them. So I'm like, I only fuck with those type of lives. But the ones like you said, where they're like a family, everyone's kind of talking, doing their own thing, I like those type of things. I think
yeah,
that's what lives should be used for.
it's pretty nice, and then you have every now and then those people that just come in and they just want to be
Control, yeah,
cool. um I my own personal moderators, and they just like mute them or something if they're bothering people or things like that. But I typically get a good people in there. I don't tend to get too many trolls, but they do pop in every now and then, but it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
I think that's just part of TikTok, honestly. At this point, the trolls are they're gonna pop in. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
type. But like I said, I think that's good that you have a family, TikTok family. I think that's cool to have. And it's not just like you're going and doing live battles or anything and want to battle. Like you're actually there to vibe with people. So I
yeah.
fuck with.
We definitely vibe. Like it's we have the music going. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It basically feels almost like I'm there like just vibing on my own, but I know like they're vibing with, they're literally like
It's just because you can't see their faces and
yeah, I
stuff,
could
huh?
see my face. It also happened where like I run into some of them at like here where I'm from, and like they look at me like they know me, and like they have a huge smile, and I'm like, where do I know them from? And then they're like, oh, I'm from your TikTok, but it's like I can't see your face when we're on live. Like I
Yeah,
can see your message, but so it's like funny when I run into them and they kind of give me a whole like a face like they know me.
yeah.
uh,
Do you live in a big city? Is
I
that
don't.
part?
The real small, so I live like South Texas, so like really South
Oh,
Texas.
shit.
and it's really small town. It's very boring. There's not a lot to do here other than the beach, and that's
Hmm.
pretty much. There's not like a lot of hiking trails. There's not really much to do here.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. So you basically run into people everywhere. You'll run into people at the store, at the grocery store all the time. Like it's
Kind of the
so
same people and stuff.
basically, yeah, you run into people all the time. Like everyone's in the same areas.
Oh wow. I would say nah, I wouldn't say El Paso's like that. El Paso's a little bit bigger than that, but it's still kind of small. It's like a small city. That's where I'm at right now, and I don't go live too often. Probably like once in a while, and
Yeah.
I haven't ran into anybody that's seen my TikTok. At least not like my TikTok lives. I've ran
Yeah.
into people that have seen like my posts, but not my TikTok lives.
Okay. And so when did you start your podcast?
I really I started I want to say a couple years ago. So it was before I even started doing like the whole video thing and everything. It was only posting to Spotify. And then a year later, I started figuring out how to kind of advance it a little bit and try to make it more like a video type thing. So I've been doing that for a little bit, and here we are.
Yeah. And so I did see you do MMA. So how long have you been doing that?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. I want to get back into it, but yeah, it was fun. I think really what stopped me was COVID back in 2020. So that was my original goal. So I feel like if COVID didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have been podcasting. Probably would have still been fighting and doing my thing with that. But yeah, COVID hit.
See, I was doing jujitsu for a long time. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a long time. I did it for a small moment.
Yeah.
I blue belt, and it was like after that I just kind of disappeared. I
Oh, dang.
started yoga and meditation, and it took me on another journey. So I kind of left that, but I'd also like to get back to that at some point for sure.
You should. Don't stop at blue belt.
I
I
know, I
stopped.
know. I don't want to be that statistic at all.
Right. I stopped at my purple. So nah, I need to get back to it for sure. But in due time. In due time. I feel like I'm more connected to doing podcasts than I am fighting, and it's funny to say that because fighting has been a passion of mine since I was real young. So it's weird to kind of run through different crossroads and find different things you're passionate about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's good having like being able to do like multiple things. Like I feel like for me it was the same way where it was like I have to choose one thing, and I finally was like, why? Like I like to do all these things, like why do I have to do one? And so right now I'm like literally working on so many things that
Yeah.
like I can do it all. Like I don't know. And I this is exactly how I manifested. I was like, okay, I don't know how this is gonna work, universe, but I just know it's gonna work somehow. Like I wanna have the whole family and the husband and the kids, and I
Yeah.
also have the, the music world and the so I was like, that's gonna work, but you guys are gonna make it work. And that's it. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Right.
like basically.
Yeah. I've seen. I mean, is that like one of your goals to like have a family while you're still doing the music thing?
Yes. I mean, because I, at my age, I'm like, I feel like I have a time clock like chasing me, you know? So
Oh,
I'm basically, I'll be 35 next year.
no
So
way.
I'm like that point where I'm ready for that kind of, I'm ready for something real. I'm ready for my power couple. I'm ready for like businesses together, my business partner, my husband, like, and all of that. So in order to have a child, I need a husband, you know?
I
And I need
no,
a
I'm
boyfriend.
thrown off. I'm thrown off because you said you're about to be 35. Like you don't look at all around your 30s. So
Thank you.
yeah, that's it. I mean, hey, us Latin people don't age till we hit 60. I always say that.
Yeah, and I think you're as old as you feel, as old as because I never say I'm too old for something. Not, I never like I just get in there, and I don't see age as a problem for anything. And I'm pursuing my passions at this age. I had a kind of uh, at when I in my youth, I had to kind of do some other things that I could not do my passions then, and so now I'm pursuing them all, and I'm ready for it. Like I'm ready, and I think it came in the perfect timing. Like it's never the wrong time.
Right.
I feel like in that point in my life I wasn't as confident, and now
Mhm.
the of me today, I feel like I'm ready to tackle it and I'm ready to go for it, and I'm determined and I'm focused. And so yeah, it needed to be at this point in my life for sure.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I feel like you're never too late. Never too
Yeah.
late to the game. You know, there's plenty. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of artists that have started real late too, and then just blew up out of nowhere off of one song. You know what I mean? So it can happen, definitely. You know,
I
I've known,
believe it.
yeah, and I've known a lot of people that were real late to the fighting game too. Like I've known people that have got into MMA at like 28, 27, maybe even in their 30s too, and now just now going professional type
Yeah.
deal. So never
There's
too late.
there's a way. Or what was that
Never,
movie? Probably
yeah,
haven't,
where,
even- but it's so you're saying there's a chance.
yeah, wherever, yeah, like you said, wherever there's a will, there's a way to do it, and
Let
you're
me
never
move
too.
sunlight real quick. I'm actually preparing for an event right now that we're about to have. So let me move. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Gosh, is the lighting there? Can you?
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, I'm actually about to be part of an event right now. Is the lighting right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lionel's good. So
Okay. So it's that event's gonna start soon. So I was like here
do you,
before
you
me.
have to do you have to go to that event?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna be part of a like a plant medicine event
Oh,
ceremony. So it's guided towards healing traumas and things like that. It's a very beautiful experience, and so that's actually what we're getting ready for right now.
is that like pretty soon?
Yeah, like at 6:30 maybe.
Oh, okay. That's not for like another hour and a half. I thought you meant like in like like 10 minutes or so. I was gonna be like, oh shit.
So
What happened?
we still have time.
Oh yeah, definitely. So another thing is, I saw you were on another person's podcast, and I thought that was pretty cool. That was kind of like an in person type of podcast type of thing, which is cool. I want to get there one day. Um, how was that? Like just to go on an in person podcast.
That was really fun. It was a whole vibe. First of all, the area that it was done in, it was it's like a vintage store. So the owner, she like really likes to dress the people that come in. So she literally chose our my outfit and everything, and
Yeah,
it's just a vibe. It was really fun, and actually being like for somebody to reach out for a podcast, it was like, oh my god, like wow, like so it was really nice. I really enjoyed it a lot. They also had like a live band in the middle of it, and it's a whole vibe. It's really nice.
that's dope. Yeah, I saw they were doing their thing. I'm just curious. Did they reach out like the same exact way I did, or was it like a little bit different?
He did reach out the same way, yes.
In the same exact way? Oh, okay. Because I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right. You know what I'm saying? So, like I don't know if I was supposed to be like doing the email stuff because I'm not really good with email like that, or doing what I'm doing now, which is like all through social media.
I think you're good. Nobody does emails anymore. And another thing is like trust
So,
that you're on, do it. Don't always try to kind of like do things how everybody else is doing it. Like trust
right,
yourself, go with it, and
right.
everything else falls into place.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I was doing things the right way. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like mine was very. I felt like I was very unorthodox. So like when it comes to TikTok, I'll sometimes bust into lives and then introduce myself and then get things kicking from there. Or I'll go on Instagram and go straight to the comments and then just throw whatever out there and see if they respond to it. That's
Yeah.
really that's how I find the guests to come up on here. So
But you do have really good guests. Like I saw that the Moni, was it, is it Moni?
Monica, yeah,
Monica. Okay, like I literally just right before you sent me the invite, somebody sent me her profile, and it was so funny because I just had seen her on TikTok. I had just like found out who she was, and then I
yeah,
saw her podcast and I was like, wow, like yeah, like it's Yeah, I like it. It's
She was really cool. She she actually got a lot of people's attention, a lot of the
yeah,
viewers and watchers' attention. So
yeah.
it was really cool to have her on
Enjoy
that day.
watching.
You said what now?
I really enjoy watching her. I started following her. Yeah,
I saw you followed her. I think you followed someone else I had on too. That's
yeah,
also into the spiritual type of stuff, which I find is very interesting. I just haven't found a way to really get started into that. But I'm trying to think of her name. She's from New York. She's Puerto Rican. You might know who I'm talking about.
I I Ace, but I don't remember the name. But yeah, I know I did
Right.
follow another one.
Yeah, I'd have to get back to you on that. But she's in the same style. Like she does the tarot, she does the spiritual stuff. And I told her too. I was like, I'm a little scared to do that type of stuff. I told her the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's because I think really what it is me coming from a Chicano culture. My abuelita was always like, don't be doing stuff that's gonna open doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, be wary of shit. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
trust you in that. I don't need to see La Llorona anywhere. I don't need to see none of this shit. So, you know,
It really opens up a realm of different things, but being able to explore it in and knowing you're protected. Like I'm always calling on my God, my like when I do tarot, I always call on my guides and my angels, and I always make sure that my space is protected,
yeah,
and just like I only invite the light, and things like that, and I believe that I'm safe and I'm protected, and I don't have issues like that for me. So I
right. Which I feel like it would be cool to like to go on like on a spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when people do that and they come back, they feel like I feel like the way they explain it to me is they know more about themselves than they did before.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like that'd be pretty cool to do, honestly.
Most people are forced into it. It's not like you decide, oh, today I'm going to be spiritual. It's just like, so
Yeah,
what you go through it, what they call an awakening. And it typically happens during a major tower moment. Tarot, a major tower moment, which is like
you gotta
something.
make that shit more scary than it was.
Yeah, that's that tarot. The tower is a card in tarot, and it's just when something happens so abruptly that it shakes your core, like it shakes your world. So it could be like a divorce, it could be a death in your family, it could be somebody that just didn't want you, like you wanted this person so badly and they just don't want you and they choose somebody else, and that pain that it causes, it sends you to an awakening to where you just start to see life differently, you start to feel differently about certain like aspects, like you start to think about everything in a different way, and it
Mm,
forces you to open, to just wake up. It's like, and that's typically how it happens. But if you're curious in any way of it, I would say, the plant medicine is definitely something that gets you there, in a safe environment where you're just kind of like, you set an intention, what is it that you're trying to release, what is it that you're trying to attract, and it opens up your mind to thinking differently and just kind of seeing things that, cycles, whatever cycle you've seen that you're always stuck in,
mm,
you will figure it out, like what's the core of it, where how did it like how did that start, and then once you figure out where that cycle came from, you
right.
know you're falling to that cycle ever again. Like it's a whole thing, it's a whole vibe, and there's so much to learn from it that it's just, the sooner you can get into it the better. It's beautiful, it's enlightening, and you don't have to go crazy with it either.
I feel like some parts of it are pretty cool. Like I feel like once you like know so much about it, once you get to like a certain point, you when you learn like something's like could potentially happen, you're like, no, I'm gonna steer that way, and it's not gonna happen. Like you can
Yeah,
kind of control the outcome of shit. I feel like
or
that's kind of cool.
yeah, because there's, I mean, even me, I'm super spiritual, but even me, I'll be like, man, that's extra spiritual, like I don't want that far.
So
um
what would be considered extra spiritual?
Extra spiritual for me, and I don't want to even say anything because I don't want to like offend anyone, because everyone's at their own vibe, but I feel like, okay, example, like, I guess you could say, like, there's like times with the too much of spiritual people, like it could become too much, and you just need time to like separate and kind of like do your own. But
Yeah.
it's like there's just so many ideas and so many sometimes. Okay, like example I'm gonna give is like there's times when you're not ready for some sort of information at that point. So when they give you this information, it sounds crazy like, so example is like aliens. Like, okay, you talking about aliens, and then like this person just got the whole thing about aliens, and at that point you're just like, I don't really believe in aliens. And then so I mean, I'm a believer in aliens.
Okay, I was about to be like, bro, like ain't no way, like I was about to get on the tangent.
That topic, but I mean, I'm that's just an example that I'm giving. But then you have also like I guess like people like quantum shifting, like just like all these other aspects of that reality, that there's so much to learn, that
Right.
there's somebody will be talking about something and it just does not feel right with you because you're not there yet, or you're not ready for that piece of information yet. And then later on it's like, oh, like it makes sense, like now it adds up. And it's just like you just got a piece of information at that point, that's all you needed, and that's all you needed to spark that interest, and then it gets you. But there's times where it's just too much spiritual, like.
No, I got you. I'm about to say though, like when you brought up the alien thing, like I can probably go on that for a
Oh
while.
yeah, me too, I love that. I'm super into that.
Yeah. Like when I talk to individuals that don't believe, like even still to this day don't believe that there's aliens out there, I'm like, how though?
Yeah,
Like this whole big ass universe, you know what I'm saying? And all these planets, you don't think at least some of them don't have a life form? Like, come on now,
exactly.
you know?
I, like infinite trillions of galaxies. Like there's no way, and we haven't even been able to go across our own galaxy.
Right.
Like just there's no way that there's no life out there. It's yeah.
My thing is, I feel like I'm one of those people that believe that they've been here like before, definitely, and like even a while back. Like going back to, well, who was I talked to about this? I forgot who it was, but it was like going back to Egypt with the pyramids and stuff like that. Like they weren't, it couldn't have been the only ones that like built the pyramids and knew exactly how to build it and how to align it with the stars. Like they had to have had some help with that.
So, I mean, there is a lot of stuff that talks about that, where it shows like a lot of the hieroglyphics, have like symbolism of aliens, of
Mhm.
other sources coming to the land to teach us of. And I'm gonna say sound vibration. Okay, so there's like this. I'm gonna call it a hypothesis that vibration would help move large objects into areas and be able to build it. But obviously that's all like super like controversial.
Right.
Definitely a lot of information on that for sure. I love Gaia. I think it's called Gaia, but it's this like specific channel where there's so much information about
Yeah.
anything spiritual in there, is it's there. And
I've
it's
seen the
it's
ads for it, but I never like watched an episode of it.
it's super cool. Like I love it because it has everything. It has from paranormal, it has breath work information, it has meditation, it has yoga, it has aliens, it has what do you say, medium people who are mediums. There's also like a guy that can control like metal, and he can bend metal, like he could bend a spoon with his mind. It's crazy, like it's just so much thing. There's so much in there that it's just like, and that's the kind of stuff I like to watch. Like I don't watch the news, so a lot of times I don't know what's going on in the world because I just don't watch TV. I don't really do like TV
There's a lot of
shows.
people like that right now that don't really watch TV. It's more so like the old heads that watch TV and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I don't even watch TV shows. Like I feel like it's a waste of my time, and I could be doing something else with it. Cause and I'm a very like I can get very like I want to binge watch a whole show. So if I get started on it, I want to watch the whole thing. And so I
Right.
know about myself, so I do not even bother with it. But I do really enjoy watching documentaries, things like that. That's really where my interest is at. Just
I'd
knowledge. I
say, as far as like documentaries, I say Ancient Aliens is probably my one right there.
Yeah. Wait,
That's
H.
Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a good one. That's where I got the pyramid stuff from. That's where I get most of my facts from, to be honest with you, because they really go in depth with it. So I like that documentary.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. And the more you learn is like just it starts the pieces start to add up together eventually, like adding to more to it. But yeah, it's real interesting. And it's like an infinite like learning on that stuff. It's just like the more you hear, the more you want to know. And it's
Yeah, yeah. You got the dude with the crazy hair that talks about it. I'm like, that dude's probably the most interesting on there, to be
oh
honest
yeah.
with you.
Is he like an archaeologist, right? I think he's like an archaeologist because he comes out on Gaia a lot. Like he talks a lot about the sound vibration and the aliens in there, for
Oh,
sure.
does he? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He might be an archaeologist then. Yeah, I don't know. I know he was something, but I just knew him as the dude with the crazy hair that would talk about it. He would
yeah,
always say like the interesting shit. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, I think
You know?
we're talking about the same person. Yeah, he's really interesting. You
Yeah.
can that there for sure.
I think the thing that got me the most was when they talked about like the gods and goddesses that they worshipped were the similar to
Other
other places, other religions and stuff like that. And it was like very similar. So they're like, maybe those weren't gods or gods, maybe those were aliens. And it's like,
yeah.
shit, that's crazy.
I agree with that. And I actually heard about that in one of my humanities class in college. Is when I started to see like they were actually showing different religions and how they were the same thing. They would just switch it to it would be a feminine instead of a masculine,
Yeah,
or
like a different name. Yeah,
yeah, the name, and it was just like they would just change or tweak it, and which is the same thing when you go back into like the Spaniards and when they went to into the South America,
they
and
don't
how
think. Yeah,
they would change their god into, they used to pray to the corn god, and then they made the god kind of similar to him to
yeah,
make the actual god. But yeah, it's amazing. Religion is man-made, for sure.
yeah. You say all religions man-made?
Yeah, I would say our religion is man-made. I do feel like it was a evolved. I do feel like there's some reality to all of it. It's just everyone wanted to kind of own it or change it and tweak it, and so that's how it kept evolving and changing, and everyone took it in their own way. Because I do feel like spirituality is a religion. Basically, it's like we're all connected. We are all connected. We are all the same. We're literally all connected. And I guess, how I came to that realization on my own at one point was, when I started my yoga and meditation journey. I
Hmm.
started to get these ideas like of things that I was just like I would just talk about it, and I was like, wow, this is like really real knowledge. And then I started to see it, like people talking about it, people wrote books about it, people, it's like, how did I get that same information without ever reading about it, ever seeing anything about it? And it was like, we're really connected. Like we are connected, and we all have the ability to have the same information, be passed to us when we finally start to sit still and stop allowing all the freaking craziness in our mind
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
let it pass through. But yeah, it's basically we're all connected, and we don't need a middleman to connect. And I pray in my home, I pray in my car, I pray as I'm walking. Like I'm constantly saying thank you. I'm constantly praying, and I don't need to show up to a church to say like, hey everyone, I came to church today, I'm a good person. Like
right.
it's or it's just, to me, religion is more of like a business. And I know this is super controversial, but this is my opinion, and nobody's gonna change my opinion, and that's all I'm gonna say. But it's to me, it's more of like, it's a business, and it's more of invoking fear in people. Like if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, and it's more of forcing people to be in fear and in guilt, and when people live in fear and guilt, you do things that you don't want to do. You
Right.
act ways, and when you finally stop holding like guilt to yourself, you live so free. With spirituality, what I love about it is that when you like, nobody has to point a finger at you and say, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. It's like things just come to you, like you just naturally will be like, you know what, I kind of don't want to drink every weekend, I'm kind of tired of that. And then you slowly just start to make that change, and then later you look at another thing and you're like, I think I'm gonna start acting this way now. Like I feel like I need to be kinder or whatever it is. Like you see it yourself and you slowly want to make change and you start making that change, and there's just nothing that anyone has to point at a finger or say you're doing this wrong and you're going somewhere for not doing it right. It's
Yeah.
just flows, and it's very nurturing. Um and I guess also learning to accept whatever you've done in your past, like it's like, okay, like I was this version of myself then, and I did this because of that, and understanding it and not letting it hold you or make you feel like you're a bad person because you did this in the past. It's like, I did that in the past and it's okay. I'm not that person anymore. I'm this new evolved version of myself. And I don't hold that to me, and I don't let that hold me back.
Right.
And and it's a whole thing. There's so much to go into with spirituality that
Yeah.
I can go on forever.
No, no. I mean, hey, that's a good thing. I mean, to know exactly like what you believe in and stuff like that, and know so much about it, I think that's a good thing. I feel like where I grew up, the family I grew up around, it was like either you're Christian or Catholic type deal, or you just what is it, atheist? Like you don't really believe any of that. Like you believe something's there, but you don't know what. Um, but I feel like you said, when it comes to like the sinning type stuff, like if you do this, you're going to hell type deal. I feel like that's kind of what pushed me further back away from it, because I'm like, why shouldn't we be able to do stuff like that type of deal? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think when people start questioning it, that's a little bit of a like, you're starting to think for yourself. Because it's very easy to just follow the crowd and what everyone is doing and what everyone thinks is right and wrong. And
Right.
when you start stepping out of it, it's where people start to think, one, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But when you actually start to do things for yourself and like become different and move and do things for yourself, and it's just more of a passion and more of like, I guess, living and having meaning to your living. Oh,
Uh oh.
there.
What happened? Oh, you a little bit. Yeah, but no, no, I understand that for sure. I said that what pushed me away from that more, and I've always said like it's funny because I feel like there's different types of spiritual type, because I've met people that say they're spiritual, whereas they believe in God, they just don't really follow like a Catholic or Christian type belief. They just believe in God, and they don't really do like spiritual things. They just kind of just know they believe in God, and that's it. And then there's another group of spiritual people that do the spiritual journeys and all meditation and all that type of stuff. So I feel like I fall with the group that's just like, I believe in God, but I don't really follow a lot of the beliefs type of deal.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I get. And yeah, there's a lot of varieties in between the spirit realm and the and belief systems. And I think with time, everything, like, you're always tweaking and kind of changing and evolving. And there's never a right and wrong. It's just where you're at and where what you want to think and what you want to follow. And there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, I mean, I could be wrong. You know, else could be wrong. But as long as you live happy and you live in peace, and it gets you to where you need to be at, I think that's great. I mean, even if religion helps someone be a good person, then be that, do that. Like, there's
yeah,
nothing wrong. Just as long as you're living and you're happy with where you're at, and that's that.
yeah, preach that. Definitely preach that for sure. Now, as far as like religion goes, do you feel like a lot of people in this generation kind of like, you feel like a lot of people are kind of going away from Christianity and Catholicism and kind of going more so the spiritual route?
I do feel like there's a lot more spiritual people now. I would say it has a lot to do with social media, like TikTok for sure, because it really like it people start to see it, and you don't have to like show up at somebody's house that's doing tarot and you're scared, and like, you're afraid to walk into their home because you
Right.
think witch or like something, and
Yeah.
see it from your home, and you see maybe a message that really stands out to you. They're talking about something and it really like hits you, or it really like something that you resonate with, and it really opened up those doors for people to be able to explore it without having to explore it, and just kind of be curious. And so it really, I think, sparked up the spiritual world a lot for for people to start like testing it and seeing what it's about.
Right. I think outside of like the religious stuff, I feel like social media influenced a lot of people in this
Yeah,
generation for different things, like, for trends, for uh, wanting to do something that's gonna get you a lot of clout or like a
yeah,
lot of hype around you. Social media. Social media is kind of that. I feel like that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because I feel like that's like the new thing that people want to chase nowadays, especially people around my age. They're like, I just want to chase that. I want people to know who I am. I want people to, I want the fame, but I feel like they don't really know exactly what comes from that
oh
or like
yeah,
what downsides it has of getting known like that.
yeah. For I think I had a moment of a little bit of a scare moment, where for a while I was really like announcing where I would be at, where I would like go run or things like that.
Yeah,
And I somebody like call me and like on social media, and he was like talking about like areas that I kind of knew, and kind of areas that I was around, and I was just like, okay, this person knows where they know where I'm at, they know where I'm, and it started to scare me. And so I go for runs really early in the morning, like there's nobody outside, and
yeah,
so just that started to freak me out, and I just started to be more careful with that information. And just know that shit can happen, things can happen. World Open up that world to where people like become fans, or people like, because they
yeah,
connect you, and they feel like there's some kind of connection because they see you on the screen, and the way you talk and the things you say, they feel really connected to you. And it does feel where um I just have to be careful where, like, not to be posting where I'm at, things
yeah.
like.
Definitely don't do that. But I think you had a stalker for sure.
Oh yeah, it was kind of creepy. It was scary, but I
They
think
were
it was,
calling you. They were calling you on Instagram call or something.
yeah, Instagram.
Yeah,
It was definitely from my TikTok, and then they followed my Instagram, and that's how they started like calling me, and then leaving me voice memos, like a lot of voice memos, and it was kind of freaking me out. And yeah, after that it was like I started to be more careful, but I think it was the way the universe started to slowly give me a dab of
what
that.
it could be like if you keep
Yeah.
going up in the fame route. Which, like I said, it's not a bad thing if it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like if it happens, it happens type deal. But yeah, I think it was just showing you like what the downsides of being known by people is.
Yeah, for sure. um
And it's
yeah.
funny you say that because earlier today, some random person called me on Instagram. Obviously, I didn't get it, so it popped up on the requests area section of it, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?" And I just blocked it because I'm like, I don't. If I don't know who it is, and they're randomly calling me without no message or anything, like, nah, we're not going down that route.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I would wanted to go back to what you said about like chasing the clout and chasing like that world of like using social media for those kind of aspects. I think that having balance is always number one in anything, because even in the spirit realm, like you'd like to think that spirituality is very like godly and very like spiritual, but
Yeah,
it so if it's unbalanced, it can get out of control. An example that I can say is like people look up to you, people come to you for healing, people who are going through traumatic experiences, who who are vulnerable will come and reach out to you. And if you are unbalanced and you can let that power get to your head and take advantage of someone who's, needs help and needs like healing. And so in any aspect, it could just lose its balance and it could become something else. So
It's
just
like
be,
that's kind of scary too. Like
it
if
is,
you lose balance of it, like that's kind of
yeah.
scary.
Too much of anything is bad. So like another example I can use is like I used to be super nice, like super nice, just to the point that I was extra nice. So then people take advantage of you, like people use you. And then it was like, and then you can be a super ruthless bitch, and then nobody like, nobody wants to talk to you, right? So like everything has to be balanced. Like
You
you
need
have
that
to.
balance of being the ruthless bitch and then being the cool person.
So that's where I'm right now. Like I'm like, um,
I
but
mean,
it's
that's how you got to be. I feel like especially in this day and age, you got to be that way.
Yeah. So just basically balancing everything, balance family, balance career, balance, knowledge, just balance everything. And it's hard because you think of like a whole day. And there's, to me, I feel like I already wake up at 4 in the morning and I'm like, I don't have time for all these, like, where do I fit it? And so it, like, when you think of time is just, yeah, there's,
That already takes a lot. Waking up at 4 in the morning,
oh yeah, for sure.
I'll still be knocked the fuck out. No, 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 none of that. I probably wake up at like probably. I've been waking up early as fuck, like randomly. So probably like 6 or 7. I'll probably be kind of awake type of
Yeah.
deal. But 4, nah. I do not
Yeah.
want to be awake at 4. That's gonna throw me off. That's gonna throw my whole day off if I wake up at 4. I feel like.
I really enjoy waking up at 4 because it's like peaceful. There's no sounds, there's no noise. My house is asleep, my kids are asleep, my dogs are peacefully, quietly just next to me. That's the time I go in and I meditate. I also go live on TikTok to meditate and journal and do yoga in the mornings at those hours.
Yeah,
Um, so it's like I'm taking my routine to TikTok now and seeing how that goes. It's super new, so I'm still tweaking it. It still doesn't have a lot of people that like stick around yet, but I do see
yeah,
where they're it. So, I think it's a slow process. But that's definitely the time I like to wake up and get my day started. So I get so much shit done in the morning before I go to my actual job.
yeah,
Um, so it just really helps me out a lot. And then, so yeah, I basically, my whole day is already like, I already have something that I have to do the entire day.
yeah.
So yeah, so,
A lot of mental strength, doesn't it?
oh yeah. And like, I guess determination to wake up and do it, like force yourself to get up.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess like also like lately now I started to write. So I've been writing music in the morning. So it's been I get that little window and I start to just mess around and see like play around with sounds and it's been very productive and I really like it. And like I don't know, my morning brain is like sharp. It's
Yeah, my morning brain is where we at right now. And then right around like 10, 11, 12, around that time, then I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get the hang of shit. And then nighttime, I'm a night owl. So nighttime, that's when I'm at my peak, like peak self for some reason. I don't know why.
yeah. I'm trying to go to sleep early because I struggle so much,
Yeah,
and it's really starting to catch up with me. Like I need my sleep or my brain doesn't work. Like my brain is not functioning. like
yeah.
I basic math, you know.
No, I feel that.
Yeah, going to bed like late for me would be like I'm going to bed already like at 12 and then I wake up at 4. So it's like it's not enough sleep in there. When I was younger, I could stay awake forever and I cannot do that anymore and I need my sleep.
Nah, I mean, I was always like that, even when I was younger. But we're about at that hour mark of the end of the podcast episode. But before that, there's a Q&A. So you answer like 5 questions. Now, mind you, some of them are weird and some of them are, they make sense. So, I mean, it's just whatever people ask, and I just take it and put it up on here. So
Okay.
they're all at random. So let's see. And
Oh,
yeah, here we go. Like I told you.
No, I think white toes look really nice.
In my personal opinion, I'm not a foot person, so I don't really like judge like that. But I do. I would say I notice white toes more than any other color. I don't know if it's because it's a brighter color or what not, but yeah,
And I
it's a,
can say I never
it's a
had white
nice thing.
toe.
You said you could never have white toes.
I've never had white toes. Like I don't. That's not really the color I choose. So yeah, it's I haven't for myself.
Yeah, I mean it could be something you try and see how it looks. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm a
maybe
big.
I'll dig it.
Yeah. And then let's see.
Hmm. When she upset,
Hmm.
uh, I guess I could say it's like response to kind of getting her thoughts gathered. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to that. Even,
It's funny because that question popped up on previous episodes, and before we're like, we need you to elaborate on what you mean by upset because what kind of upset? Like crying upset, frustrated upset? Like what are we talking about?
yeah.
So I guess I wonder if they're talking about crying upset, maybe. So if like crying upset, then what would that mean?
So if it was crying upset, it's definitely of where maybe they just don't want you to see them vulnerable and crying, or like something like that. Where it's just a form of comfort too, like just comforting yourself in that moment of crying.
Right.
Uh, all I can think about.
So are you one of them that does that?
I am not. I am very open to my emotions. So if I cry, I cry and I let it show. And I mean, I don't cover my face at all.
I got you. Yeah. I think what she said, it's probably just a comfort thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I am a Virgo.
Virgo. I'm an Aquarius, but I don't know much about zodiac signs. I get judged on it too much, so I'm like,
You're
whatever.
like,
Yeah. I guess Aquarius isn't a popular zodiac sign. I don't know. But I don't know too much about him, so I don't really worry about it too much.
so I don't know too much about like people's characters with the zodiac signs. Like a lot of tarot people would know that like a lot really well, but I don't really focus on that. And I've never really paid attention to the people I've hung out with to know like what sign they were and how they were. Like I don't know. I just That's too much for me to try and unravel in my brain. Like I don't know. Yeah.
We also have people that like strongly believe in that and will judge others based off that. Like if they had a bad experience with a Leo, then they're gonna be like, nope, no more Leos for me. And it's like, damn,
Oh, for sure.
they
I
could
do
be like a friend or something.
before
You said you've done that before?
met those people before.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'll just be like, all right, like,
Okay. So that emoji for me would be like, and for me, that emoji is always like the shy, like, oops. Like,
the
yeah,
shy.
the
I
shy.
feel I couldn't figure out if it was like that or if it was like scared or something. Because you know how like when people some people are scared, they kind of do that. I guess.
I see. Yeah, like when you're a kid and you're watching a movie and you're kind of watching it, but not really. You know,
Do you do that? Do you do that? Do you do that exact thing with horror movies now? Like if you watch them.
I don't really watch horror movies, but I do tend to get scared and jump. Like, I jump for everything. Like, I'm
So
a
like
big.
I'm gonna say so like in a real life situation, what would make you do that real life version of that emoji?
So that emoji would be, okay, let's see. I actually use that emoji a lot. So like try to think of a scenario that I've used it. Um, I guess when I say something and it's uh, like you say I can't think of a specific thing, but I all I could say is like a shy oops, like like I said it, oops, like yeah, like yeah.
So
Basically
like that, so like that's a text, like you're talking about like text version, right?
yeah, I'm talking text version.
So like a real life situation, but would make you actually do it.
Um, let's see. I guess okay, I guess it could be like a shy moment of when you're like maybe we're with a guy, right? And you like he's just making you feel very like you're very attracted to him, and I guess maybe you feel really shy and it just kind of makes you want to cover your face and like, but I don't tend to do that. So I'm just picturing a situation and scenario, but I don't think I use that face on myself because I don't tend to touch my face at all.
I got you. I
But
mean
I do
that's understandable, you know, the oils and stuff like that, you know.
I do think that it's a more of a comfort. Like when people touch their face a lot, I do feel like it's a form of like it's like a comfort. It's like when you play with your like girls play with their hair a lot. It's like comfort. It's comforting. It's
Yeah.
kind of you to kind of feel calm, and so I do feel like when people touch their face a lot, it has something to do with that.
It might. I will say though, in my like personal experience, I've seen mainly females doing the face touching and face covering and shit like that. I don't really see a lot of guys doing that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's more of a reaction.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah, that about wraps up this episode. Go ahead, shout out your social medias to everybody.
All right, guys. So you can find me on TikTok. It's Laney Luna 1111. Just be careful because there's a lot of fake accounts out there, and they
I
reach
got
out
hit
to.
up by one. It's like what the fuck?
Even my friends message me, and they'll be like, "Did you send me this?" I was like, "Why on earth would I talk to you like that? Like we know each other."
Yeah. No, I got hit up by one of them too, and they're like, I could give you a tarot reading, and I was like, uh, no thanks. I'll see you on the 29th. And then I was like, oh fuck, that wasn't even her. Like what?
Yeah. They really reach out to everyone, and as soon as anyone follows me, they follow them right away, and then they hit them with the question. And I've even had people pop up on my live and be like, "Hey, you owe me $230," and I'd be like, "What?" Like, or that they even send me a request to my Cash App, and I'm like, "Why would you send a request to a different Cash App than the one you paid to?" You know, like it doesn't make sense. But yeah, they're
Bro, they
relentless
getting scammed out here. Yo.
scammed, and and there's so many, like every time we report it, they open up a new one and a new one, and I don't know what they're using to get followers, but they're good. Like they get following really fast, and I'm like, I should hire them.
It's probably some kind of service where you buy the shit from. I don't know, because I've seen people do that, and I'm like, why are you buying shit? Like, why waste your money on that?
But I they do follow a lot of, like they'll follow like everybody on my thing, but I've done where I'm trying to kind of like follow people, and you can only follow a certain amount before it tells you you need a break, like you can't follow that many. So I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way there's somebody all day long just follow, no way, like it has to be some kind of like computer thing that does it. I have no
Either
idea.
that, or there's a group of them, or the person just genuinely has nothing else to do with themselves, and they're just focused
Wow.
on you. I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
said, stalkers exist. People that are obsessed with you exist. I'm sure you probably have that. I don't even know if I have that. Hopefully, I don't. But you know, I guess now I'm doing social media and podcasts, and I'm in the wide open for it. I guess so. Fuck it.
You're known. Um, Now that you said, you're probably gonna get someone message you.
Yeah, I probably just jinxed myself to be honest with you. Probably did. But it was a great episode. I appreciate you coming on, giving us a good episode to for tonight. And yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for reaching out, and we had really good conversation. It was really nice getting to know you and meet you. And I just realized the lighting is off, so I
It got a
guess
little dark over there. It's okay. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
you're welcome. Have an amazing night. Have a good
You
one.
too.